classmate Harley Dilly is missing. Harley's story is being shared nationwide, but there are no new leads. The reward for information about his whereabouts has risen to more than $17,000. And Brandon Simmons shares a timeline of how the case has unfolded.
It's your boy Harley Dilly.
December 20th, 2019. That was the last day anyone saw 14-year-old Harley Dilly as he headed to Port Clinton High School just blocks away from his home. His disappearance wasn't reported by his family until the next day, close to midnight. Police quietly investigated the case and released a surveillance image on Christmas Day showing who they believe is Harley. Police didn't hold a press conference until December 26th, acknowledging they didn't have much to share.
Parents felt that he has stayed out all night before, and when he didn't return home, that's when they became concerned.
For days, the community passed out flyers and searched for Harley, while police did the same, by foot and by air. Over the last 2 weeks, the reward for Harley's safe return has continually grown. On January 2nd, it was bolstered by a $2,200 donation from Rad Air, with the company also promising to match any donations up to $100 made at Northeast Ohio locations. A GoFundMe page has also raised nearly $6,000. On January 4th, Harley's story went national, featured on A&E's Live PD. That same day, Dog the Bounty Hunter shared a post on Instagram.
Police say they're continuing to go through leads from all across the country. The reward for information in this case is now more than $17,500. As Harley Dilly's classmates returned to school, two different searches at the high school and surrounding campus during winter break turned up nothing. No sign of the high school freshman, who investigators believe was last seen on surveillance video heading to school just after 6 a.m. the Friday before winter break. Police say he never made it to school.
I can't tell you the amount of footage our high school principal has watched on video, looking at different areas, making sure that, that Harley was not here when we didn't think he was here.
Superintendent Pat Adkins wouldn't say if Dilly was in school that Thursday, only repeating what police have said, that they believe it's Dilly in that video from Friday, December 20th. Meanwhile, overhead, the National Search and Rescue Organization, Texas EquiSearch, flew above Port Clinton today. The helicopter hovering over neighborhoods with homes bearing the 14-year-old's picture on missing posters, capturing images of the area. Air Tracker 5 there as searchers scan this marshy area. Sources confirmed to 5 on Your Side investigators that search also focused on a nearby landfill, as well as Dilly's neighborhood. News 5 cameras, the only ones rolling, as searchers began running those images through a software program looking for any sign of the missing teen. Now 17 days into Dilly's disappearance, this tight-knit community still hopeful Harley's out there somewhere.
The police department are working hard on finding Harley. The fire department is working hard on finding Harley. And we believe Harley is alive and will return to Port Clinton High School.
Extra counselors were available today at the high school for teens and teachers to talk to. The superintendent says they'll remain available until, in his words,
Hey, good morning to you guys. The search for 14-year-old Harley Dilly continues here this morning. And like you said, investigators spent hours earlier this morning at this home. It's a vacant home, which happens to be right across the street from the Dilly household. It's actually the last place that Harley Dilly was seen. And at this time, Port Clinton police have not confirmed the nature of the large police presence that was here earlier this morning. But we do know that crime scene investigators were on scene. Our sister station, WTOL, reports that just after 2 a.m., a white van was seen backing up to a side door at the vacant house. The back door to the van was open. Police and an ambulance then pulled up to block the view. That view was blocked, but the van pulled away shortly after the crime scene investigators left. While police were here, neighbors and community members gathered for a small vigil. They were hoping and praying for the best for Harley.
I have a 14-year-old grandchild and a 10-year-old grandson, and I just can't imagine. I just want everything to be okay. You always pray and you hope for the best, but we'll see.
The community just wants answers and wants to know what's going on.
I have to get up every day and look in that room, and he's not there.
For the first time since her son's disappearance, the mother of Harley Dilly is speaking on camera.
The reward for information leading to Harley Dilly's safe return is now up to nearly $10,000. His mother is pleading for him to come home safe.
There's no words for any of this. I would never want anybody to go through this. I mean, somebody had to have seen something.
Inside her home on East 5th Street in Port Clinton, Heather Dilly has spent the last 14 days hoping her son Harley will come home to her. She's learning through experience. Investigations take time.
You see everything on TV, you watch all these crime shows, and you think, oh, that's never going to happen, and they solve it in an hour. It doesn't take an hour to find out everything.
Port Clinton police say 14-year-old Harley was last seen Friday, December 20th, between 6 and 7 a.m.
Heather, when was the last time you saw him? Was it that morning, Friday morning?
I didn't see him. I talked to him. There's a difference.
But that's all she can say. She's worried sharing more information could jeopardize an open investigation.
Just waiting for him to come home.
For now, she's pleading for her son's safe return.
I love you, Harley. Please come home. Please, we need you. I don't believe that you ran, but if you did, just please, this isn't you.
She's asking her community to help look for her son and begging them to understand her pain.
People are contacting me saying my son's dead. How do you think that makes me? Just pray for him and to share, and please keep your eyes open. Somebody knows something. I mean, geez, how can a kid just disappear? Seriously.
In addition to surveillance video from Friday, December 20th, Port Clinton police are also asking the public to come forward with any video from Thursday, December 19th, between 3 p.m. and midnight.
Dilly from Port Clinton. Many local businesses are donating to the reward for information leading to his whereabouts, which is now almost up to $18,000. Amy Steigerwald is in Port Clinton speaking with businesses and residents about the search.
This is certainly not something that we're used to dealing with and that we ever thought we would be dealing with.
A difficult first day back from winter break for Port Clinton High School. Administrators speaking with students about the disappearance of one of their own. All high school teachers opened up their first period class today by explaining what happened to 14-year-old Harley Dilly and how police are actively searching for him.
I've seen a lot of parents that aren't even letting, kids walk to school. A lot of people are volunteering, hey, I got a big car, let's pile in and get a kid's school safe, which is awesome.
As the search continues, donations towards the reward fund for information regarding Harley's disappearance continue to come in. Donations from Fisherman's Wharf, Catawba Island Jewelers, and other local businesses, increasing the total by thousands of dollars within hours.
Well, if somebody knows something, somebody's gonna say something, It's gotta be terrible. I can't imagine what.
You to come home.
It has been just over 3 weeks since Harley Dilly disappeared. Today, his mom making a plea for his safe return as dozens of volunteers search their community in hopes of finding him.
News 5's Jay Jarvis has more now from Port Clinton.
It's written on this sign and shown through these pink ribbons you see here and all throughout town. Hope for Harley. Volunteers here making it their mission to make sure he returns home where he belongs.
We miss you, and we are still waiting to have Christmas with you. We want you to come home.
As Heather Dilly made that emotional plea to her son Harley Saturday morning, dozens of volunteers gathered at nearby Lakeview Park, hoping to make that Christmas wish come true.
Start back in there and then come out in this little part.
Harley was last seen on surveillance video heading to school on December 20th, but never made it there. In the week since then, investigators have searched all over Port Clinton, but this time around, people in the community are the ones leading search efforts.
Got a little boy who turns 12 yesterday, hits home. I think the whole community has come together, and Harley's going to be like everyone's child.
The search was initially postponed due to the poor weather forecast, but because so many people still wanted to come out, organizers put it back on. Many of those volunteers local.
You want to do State Road?
But others made the trip from farther away.
It's the right thing to do, to help somebody. I know if I was missing, I would want people looking for me.
In groups, they trekked down sidewalks, along train tracks, and through wooded areas, leaving no stone unturned. The Port Clinton police chief sending a personal message to Harley.
You call the Port Clinton Police Department, 419-734-3121. You ask for me, and I will come and get you personally no matter where you're at.
All of that support helping the Dilly family stay hopeful for Harley's return.
This has been bigger than we had ever imagined. the support and love for our son. And he just needs to know how much he is loved.
Teen could help bring him back home. Take a look at this image of Harley Dilly. Investigators say this is the maroon coat he was apparently wearing when he went missing. He's been missing now since December 20th, and there's a reward of more than $17,000.
Led to no known answers in the 3 weeks since the disappearance of 14-year-old Harley Dilly. Last seen December 20th, leaving for school.
I think people are scared.
Parents who have helped organize community efforts for Harley say every day without answers is hard.
That's what the community needed. They needed to do something positive.
Saturday morning, a large volunteer search is planned to begin at Lakeview Park in Port Clinton.
Harley likes hot pink. That's what we were told.
Organizers say up to 500 people could come. Businesses are offering support.
Got a few employees, they're gonna go to the search and stuff, and we try to donate some food or lunch for them, whoever people searching.
As the days drag on without Harley.
We have been praying for Harley ever since December.
One faith leader says it's important the community never give up trying to bring Harley home.
God works in strange ways and when we're not expecting it. So you cannot give up hope in any situation, in any circumstance.
It continues in Port Clinton, and investigators are hoping surveillance video from the area will help them track his steps. Police want to see home and business security video from the area captured between December 19th and December 21st. It could give them a new lead in the case. Dilly was last seen December 20th. More than $9,000 reward is being offered for any information about the boy's whereabouts.
It's been 9 days since 14-year-old Harley Dilly was last seen on his way to school. Now the Port Clinton community is coming together to pray and call for Harley's safe return home. Michael Tater tells us the candlelight vigil is helping the community keep the light of finding Harley burning bright.
Thank you so very much for coming out and supporting us at this time, because I don't know what we'd do without all of you.
The city of Port Clinton banding together tonight with a candlelight vigil with one goal: to see Harley Dilly return home. Hometown residents joined by neighbors from far and wide.
From Sandusky. It's not just in your community. Harley has touched the hearts of many of us from all over. Our host city has been praying for Harley.
We're a small community, but we're close-knit. So when things like this happen, we come together like this.
Speakers offered prayers and encouragement that the whole city is hoping for his safe return. But one pastor also took the time to unite everyone and shut down gossip and ill comments that have been circulating online about Harley.
This isn't the internet. This is Port Clinton, Ohio. So let's use this energy and watch the results. I believe Harley's coming home.
All of the speakers offering messages of hope, including one directly to Harley from his grandfather.
If you're out there and you're hearing this or seeing this, we all want your home. We miss you, son. Come home, please.
We'll find them, okay?
Port Clinton police reminding residents to keep their lights on for Harley and telling anyone with information to call the station at 419-734-3121. In Port Clinton.
Mike, we all know all eyes have been on Port Clinton as this story has attracted national attention. And now, in addition to the boots on the ground efforts to find him since he went missing back on the 20th, one Port Clinton pub has organized a candlelight vigil they hope will encourage Harley Dilly to come home. Holding out hope for Harley.
Get the word out, keep reposting, keep talking about it, keep it a hot topic, you know, don't let it go to the wayside. So until we figure out what's going on, what happened to him or where he's at or get him back.
This week, Port Clinton police asking residents there to keep their porch lights on until the 14-year-old is found.
We want to thank all the people from the community who have assisted in searching for our son Harley.
And Chief Rob Hickman delivering this message from Harley's family.
This is not the Christmas wish we had hoped for. We pray for the safe return of our son Harley. Harley, if you hear or read this, Please come home. We miss you. Your family miss you. You are not in trouble. We love you.
And Sunday, a popular town pub hopes to light the path to Harley's safe homecoming.
It's a tough world we live in, and it can affect anybody. Big city, small city, our tiny little town. So yeah, I think people are worried.
McCarthy's employees organized a candlelight vigil they hope will lead to information about where Harley may be or encourage him to come home.
Bring him home. That's our main goal, is bring him home. We just want to get out there, talk to as many people as possible, get his name out there, and just come together, right? Really just come together as a community and let's try to find him.
A community that says it will not rest until Harley is found.
The last few days they've been doing pretty much 12, 14, 16-hour searches. Searches and being down there trying to figure things out.
Now saying the young teen died of compressive asphyxia. The coroner is waiting for a final identification and toxicology. They're ruling this accidental at this time. After being missing for almost a month, Dilly's body was found in a chimney across the street from his home. The police chief speaking out today about this tragedy.
It's not the outcome we wanted. The family has closure. That's about the best I can sum it up as.
Our Amy Steigerwald breaking down what police are saying about this case. Amy?
Yeah, Christy, heartbreaking news coming out of Port Clinton today. The police chief confirming that 14-year-old Harley Dilly's body was found in the home you see right behind me. At this time, foul play is not believed to be a factor. Investigators finding Harley's body in a chimney on Fulton Street near his home. We are being told Harley climbed the TV antenna tower of a home near his on Fulton Street and somehow got stuck in the chimney between the first and second floor. We do not know how long he was in there, but police say he climbed in the morning he was last seen. Despite being stuck, Harley's glasses and coat somehow pushed through the chimney and onto the second floor, which is one of the first things investigators noticed when they came up to the second floor of the home yesterday. As far as the home where Dilly's body was discovered, I'm told it is someone's summer home. It had to be unlocked. Originally, nothing led investigators to believe it needed to be searched in the first place. Police Chief Rob Hickman would not specify what exactly led them to the home, but did express how incredibly heartbroken he is for the family. He is relieved to have some sort of closure in this case tonight.
I promised myself not to break down today. As you can tell everybody behind me, we have state, local, county, and federal agencies for the last 3 weeks involved in this investigation. It's not the outcome we wanted. The family has closure. That's about the best I can sum it up as.
Absolutely heartbreaking. You can see just how moved he was during that press conference. Now, if you take a look behind me, this greenhouse here is right where Harley was found. His body found inside the chimney in that home. Just directly across the street and a couple houses down is the Dilly residence, where we find my colleague Michael Tater. He's getting reaction tonight from the Port Clinton community. Michael.
Oh, Amy, the reaction the same for everyone. Heartbroken. Port Clinton neighbors and residents here, when they woke up this morning, this was not the news that they were hoping to hear. We've been out here all day. The Dilly residence is still lit up in pink, as you can see here, and we've actually seen some people start to show up and place flowers here on the porch. Now, the neighborhood has been mostly quiet all day, people just driving by to check out the scene. Neighbors I spoke to shaken by what happened, calling it a tragedy and just not what they expected. Port Clinton police and some detectives were actually by the vacant home where Dilly was found earlier today. I heard from the manager of Fisherman's Wharf and the neighbor who helped organize last weekend's search. Both say they were still holding out hope last night that Harley was alive. This morning, like many others, trying to make sense of this.
People call it closure. I don't know how, the family knows now, but it's not what they wanted to know. This isn't going away forever. This is something that Port Clinton's going to be known for, be it good or bad, for a long time.
This was tragic and terrible. People go home and hug their children and tell your kids that you love them.
Now, Mark and his business helped raise close to $8,000 for the reward money for any tips leading to Harley's safe return home. He says at this time he hasn't heard from Chief Hickman exactly what will happen to that money, but if it is returned to them, he plans on giving it towards the family to have a beautiful funeral for Harley.
Michael, you were out there last night watching it all unfold, as many of us were. You were talking with neighbors. So how have things changed since then?
Well, neighbors, like I said earlier, neighbors were, the word that we got last night from the press release from Chief Hickman was that Harley Dilly was still considered missing. Many people praying, holding hands. We saw that candlelight vigil, that makeshift candlelight vigil, just praying and hoping that this would actually lead to clues to where Harley was and that he was still in fact alive. But again, people waking up this morning to the news that they just didn't expect.
Okay, Michael, thank you very much. Nice job. Well, neighbors gathered last night while crews were still investigating that vacant home. They held an impromptu candlelight vigil for the missing teen. Residents held a prayer chain. They were hoping for Harley's safe return.
And Port Clinton City Schools releasing a statement today. The schools saying they have counselors on site today and tomorrow. The superintendent saying they will be focusing their attention on students and
Guys, take a look at the drone footage behind me here. You know, one of the big questions we've been hearing over and over is, how did Harley's coating glasses end up on the second floor? Now, I talked to a chimney professional this afternoon to get a possible explanation, and this is what he explained to me about the chimneys. Now, police tell us that this home had a second floor fireplace. There's an antenna tower on the side that police said Harley climbed. Once he's on the roof, he could access the chimney near the center of the house. Now take a look at this graphic of a chimney. The chimney opening is 9 inches by 13 inches, just wide enough for someone of Harley's size to get inside. Looking into the chimney, he would see the smoke shelf, which would appear to him to be the bottom of the fireplace. However, that shelf then leads to an angled flue, and that angled flue would allow his glasses and coat to be deflected onto the floor. However, the opening narrows to roughly 6 inches at that point, impossible for anyone to squeeze through. It would also be impossible to go forward or backwards at that point.
A community united to search for a boy who never made it to school, last seen December 20th. Today, they united again to pay their respects.
We are gathered to give Harley the most amazing send-off that we can give him.
Harley, found dead January 14th in a chimney of a house across from his own. Police believe he got stuck trying to enter the house. The disappearance of Harley, known to get in trouble at home and wander off, captured the hearts of people far beyond the tiny lakeside community.
Harley really touched a lot of people, not just here in Port Clinton, but kind of across Ohio, across the country, even across the world. You know, I think he's become really everybody's child. Everybody has really felt touched by his story.
The tragic ending everyone feared, still hard to accept. Today's event, perhaps closure to some.
Certainly devastated by the outcome of the story, and you know, people want to really be involved in making sure he's got a legacy and that he's never forgotten.
More than 100 people came out to the funeral home today and church luncheon, many dressed in pink, Harley's favorite color. And Megan told us the nonprofit and scholarship in his name is now well funded. Harley's parents and immediate family are holding a private funeral.
They've been praying for Harley Dilly since he went missing and returned to church after learning he'd been found.
It was gut-wrenching. It was, how can we help?
At Erie Shores Assembly of God Tuesday night, crisis intervention counselors with the group 46-1 offer comfort, but there are still so many questions.
I don't know, it's a small community. We don't really have these kinds of things happen.
The 14-year-old, whose face and flyers remain posted throughout Port Clinton and led to a national search, was located inside of a chimney across the street from his own home, stunning volunteers like Mark Wolf.
I don't even know what to say anymore. You know, we're at a loss to think he was just that close.
Some neighbors broke down in tears, learning the cause of death was compressive asphyxia.
just the thought of him being in that chimney all these days, you know, no food, no water, you know, probably crying for his mom, you know, that's what's bringing me to tears.
I'm heartbroken. I'm heartbroken for this little boy. I'm heartbroken for this family and this whole community.
A community that came together in large numbers to look for Harley and say they'll continue to think of him, pray for him, and now more than ever, support his family.
That's all we can do at this point.
Hold the Dillys up, hold each other up.
That the people are filled with compassion here in this community, and that you're not alone.
Inside the chimney of a Port Clinton home. For weeks following his disappearance, even after his discovery, there were questions about just what happened to him. Well, tonight, WTOL 11 lead investigator Brian Duggar has some new information about the case and new images just released by authorities.
We are getting some answers tonight about the recovery of Harley Dilly. The 14-year-old was found inside the chimney of a Fulton Street home in Port Clinton on January 13th. On Thursday afternoon, 11 Investigates obtained the final report from the Bureau of Criminal Investigation. The report states that Harley was found standing on the floor of the chimney of the second floor of the home. Above him was a vent. His coat, eyeglasses, sweatshirt, and a brown jersey were pushed through that hole. The vent cover was found near the clothing. Agents were then able to reach through the vent opening to discover Harley. The wall was removed and the brick chimney was opened to remove the young teen. His body was in an advanced state of decomposition. Harley is recovered after being missing for nearly 4 weeks. In pictures, his coat is seen hanging on a door. The report explained that a Port Clinton officer picked it up to assess whether it is possibly Harley's. Investigators say the boy climbed an antenna on the side of the home. He slid down the chimney and the clothing was pushed through the hole to try to create space. Many local rumors centered around the clothing and a mattress being found on the floor of the bedroom. But the report makes it clear that Harley was never inside the home. There were no signs of a sleeping area, of food being eaten, or of any use.
Has been combing through the report we just received. Michael, what are we learning?
Amanda, this is it. 4 pages. The biggest thing in this report cites that one of Harley's friends says he saw him after school on Friday. I called Port Clinton police, and they told me they were never able to confirm that witness's account. They believe this surveillance photo is the last time anyone saw Harley headed towards school that Friday morning, and he never showed up. Marcus Dilly reported his son missing around midnight Saturday at the police station. This report shows officers searched 5 different addresses of Harley's friends in less than 3 hours. Police asked Marcus why he came in so late, and he told them there had been past incidents where Harley didn't go to school on Fridays and would not return until Saturday morning. This time, Marcus felt his son had been gone too long. Police asked if he believed Harley was suicidal, and he said no. He did tell police, however, that Harley has ADHD and autism and hated the cold.
Everyone hoped for. This is the Port Clinton home, where the body of 14-year-old Harley Dilly was discovered inside a chimney Monday evening, across the street from where he lived. The owners, who are in their 80s, live in Avon. Their son Jim, who asked that we not use his last name, spoke to us by phone.
Our hearts, thoughts, and prayers go out to the Dilly family and the whole Port Clinton area.
Jim says the home has belonged to his family since it was built back in 1852, but no one has lived in it full-time for many years. The family occasionally uses it as a weekend vacation home during the summer, and it was under renovation. He says no one had been inside since mid-November.
I was quite confident that there was no way anybody got in that house. They would have been able to tell because it was pretty secure.
Jim says he and his parents were stunned when Port Clinton police called Monday asking for keys to get inside and information about the home's layout and renovation details. He says it would be extremely difficult to enter the home through the chimney, as police believe Harley tried to do.
There was no openings in that chimney other than like 8-inch diameter openings in different places.
He also says the home does not have a fireplace.
And the chimney hasn't been used in years, so there used to be a gas stove that went into it, and there's been nothing since.
Jim says his family's future plans for the house are uncertain. Right now, they are focused on Harley and his family.
What we're going to do with the house is, the furthest thing.
He died the day he disappeared. A report with the new details was released over the weekend. However, in this report, the coroner does add, quote, there is no accurate forensic way of determining an exact time of death in such circumstances. The coroner has already ruled Harley's cause of death as compressive asphyxia. He was found in the chimney of an unoccupied home near his own house several weeks after he disappeared. The death has been ruled.
Organizer is now creating a scholarship in the name of Harley Dilly. Mark Wolf, the owner of Fisherman's Wharf Bait and Tackle, and search organizer Megan Lenthy say they will create a nonprofit to oversee the fund. In a post on Facebook, Wolf says funds will come from people who donated to the search reward. A public visitation for Dilly is set for next Saturday, January.
Back at it like a crack addict, and today, oh boy, the depression is over. The channel it's a channel, but now we are on to bigger new things, and that means that this Harley Dilly YouTube channel, the goal is to reach 1,000 subs in the next 2 years. I know it seems like an impossible goal and that it's gonna never happen, but with support from friends, family, and people I've met along the way on YouTube, I'm sure we can do a lot of big things. So plans for this channel, we're going to play Madden Mobile, which is a series I started earlier on my old channel. We are going to be vlogging, going to be doing more things with subs. And who knows, maybe sometimes we'll do some collaborations. You know what, we're just gonna have fun here, because this is my channel. And I don't care what everybody else wants it to be. It's mine, and I get to decide the future for it. And right now, I am proud to admit, I'm kind of glad that that Harley Dilly channel was gone. It had a D+ grade. Can we get this channel to at least a C- when it first launches up on Social Blade? That'd be fire. But until then, boys, this is it. This is the intro to the channel. Thank you for making this a reality. This is incredible. Alright guys, I'll see you tomorrow for the live stream.